Good morning. It's the end of October and it is time to build my fire in my wood stove, and I thought while I do this I will talk about the last 3 books that I've read. Been with me on my channel, I had great success reading read books. So these 3 books are all read. I have literally read them, and they're all quite popular. So the first one that I read was Red Rising. This is sort of a science fiction where there's a very obvious hierarchy caste system. Our main character is a miner. They call them helldivers on Mars, and they are harvesting, I don't know, some kind of mineral. They are very, very hard done by. And then through a series of bad actions, terrible things, our main character is thrust into the upper echelons and has to kind of make his way through the people that he grew up despising. I think the overall goal is that he's going to overthrow the government. This had a lot of flavors of other books for me. It reminded me of The Will of the Many, the idea of hierarchical society. And it also reminded me of Wool, which is another red book. I quite enjoyed Wool, but it's a very similar, like the further you go down, the further you are in society. Literally down in the ground. I read this, as you know, we're going through some pretty tough stuff right now. And I don't think I read this at the right point in my life. This was a very dark book, and it did nothing to boost my mood. I don't want to say it is, but I'm gonna say it. This is very much a boy book. Men will for sure love this book. I'm not discounting the women that like it, but this is a very masculine heavy book. In character, yes, there's some females, but I find that this was, if you can identify that it is written by a male, then there could be some flaws for your female readership, and I get it. I don't want to pick apart this book. The only thing that really bothered me, there's this term in comics where a woman character is fridged. Like, she's put in the refrigerator and she's constantly present, but she's not actually there. This has to do with a female character meeting extreme violence and then probably dying, and then being the sole motivation for the main character. And that is a bit of a spoiler, but I don't care. I was really frustrated by this character motivation. I did not like it. It could have been done so many other ways, and I just felt like that was not needed. The other thing that I felt was this was very Irish coded, in the idea of miners' rebellion against a overlord golden society. That is just what I took from it. So I don't know if you can tell, but this was sort of not really a hit for me. I could have done without all of the swearing and all of the immense violence. It was just not my book. Really, truly, it was just not my book. I don't know what it was in my taste this month. I read Dungeon Crawler Carl. This has made the rounds on BookTube. It's a very popular series. Yeah, another kind of sci-fi. This one's set in more of like a campy kind of style. Think Hitchhiker's Guide to the Galaxy. This is a story of a man named Carl who one day the world is basically smushed and invaded by aliens who take the remaining humans in a video game type of fight for your life arena. And it's very much set up like a video game. Levels, you get progressively harder. I think this is a genre called lit RPG. I have read some lit RPG before, role-playing game, and I didn't gel with it, and I was kind of hoping that this would be a little bit different, but I found myself kind of skipping bits, and by the end of it I was just kind of skimming it because my one gripe with lit RPG is that it feels very samey. You get to one level, you fight the baddies, you learn some things. You get to the next level, you fight some baddies, you learn some things, you get to the next battle. And it kind of did this. It was very repetitive, and that's really my big gripe with it. Loved the main character, loved his sidekick Donut, who's a cat, which I, again, struggle with talking creatures, so maybe that was another thing that put me off of it. It just wasn't my book, unfortunately, and I was really hoping that it was because I need a really good book after reading Red Rising. But no, this one was just okay for me. I would recommend this to a lot of people. I think this goes very widely for some people who are gamers and love that kind of stuff. Just not my thing, and that's fine. That's fine. That's not my usual thing, so I tried to get back into something that I was familiar with. Segue. I read The Impossible Fortune, which I think is the 5th book in the Thursday Murder Club series. I quite enjoyed this one. This one was lovely. It was just like going back and seeing your best friends. Particularly tough because some of the characters are exploring grief, which is pretty close to home right now, and maybe that's why I liked it, because Richard Osman does not shy away from the heavy stuff. Totally understand. He rails against being called a cozy murder mystery, and I feel like I want to explore that subject more. But to me, cozy means that you are returning to a world that you love, that is familiar enough, that has people in it that you can totally relate to. They feel like a cup of warm tea, and it doesn't matter that they're going through hard stuff. Like, some people read hard fantasy for their cozy read. So I totally understand that cozy implies bland and flat and low stakes, but that's not the case with Richard Osman. He likes to add levels of humanness. And the thing that I really like about his Thursday Murder Club series is that it explores things that you don't get in younger characters. You get these really real explorations of things that people experience when they're in their 80s, when they're in their later life. They've already lived like 5 lifetimes, and now they're living another one. And I find it absolutely reassuring. Maybe that's the cozy part about it, is that it is such a reassuring series. Just adored it, and it was such a breath of fresh air just to return to the world of Cooper's Chase and my lovely, lovely Joyce. I love her. And Ibrahim, they're my 2 favorites. I quite enjoyed his exploration of the misunderstanding between Joyce and her daughter Joanna, about how one simple accidental slip of the tongue can create a rift between 2 people, and also the idea of trying to fix that, trying not to be like that. That's really admirable in a person. My fire is roaring. I'll give you a little show of it once we're finished here. But we are good to go. The house will be warm soon. We'll see you again next time for the next wrap up. My name is Karen. I'm the Book Libronaut. I explore all types of books. Some are hits, some summer misses. We'll see you again soon. Bye.